So guys, let's take it away. Team of the season so far. For the goalkeeper, Nikhil, would you nominate first for the goalkeeper?
For the goalkeeper, I'll nominate what's his name? Yeah, Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa. I think he's had a brilliant season, and yeah, I saw him in matches, and he's been pretty well too. Pretty well saving the goals, saving the shots. Sorry, saving the shots, and maintaining some clean sheets well. And I don't think that he has a competitor right now in clean sheets. Even in my FPL team, I have.
Yeah.
So I'll Emmy Martinez.
What about you, Shivam? Do you go with Emmy too?
I'd like to with Hugo Lloris. He's been good. Mourinho's typical goalkeeper. He's saved a lot of good shots. So yeah, I'll go. I also like Emi Martinez. He's one of my favorite keepers as well. But I'd like to, just for diversity, I'd like to go for Hugo Lloris.
What about you, Pranay?
I'll also go with Emiliano Martinez because he is not only does he keep clean sheets, he makes a lot of saves as well, and those saves come in handy when you win by one single goal margins. And personally, I know Arsenal have burned Leno, but so they didn't have place for Martinez, and he has made the most of his opportunity at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think that he's been one of the biggest reasons why Villa are playing so good. I mean, the upgrade from who did they have before him? The ex
Chesney, I think.
no,
No,
ex Liverpool
Chesney
guy.
was
Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Adrian.
No,
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 it
no,
wasn't Adrian.
Carriers.
no. I don't think so. It's someone from R, someone named from R.
Uh,
No,
Liverpool
what's
or
the
Aston Villa? What's
Yeah, Aston Villa
uh,
had a former Liverpool guy as a
Reina.
keeper.
Pepe
Pepe
Reina,
Yeah,
Pepe
Reina?
Reina.
Pepe
Pepe.
Reina.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a big upgrade from Pepe Reina. He can also
Uh,
play out from the back. He's very dominant in the air. So yeah, I think he's
Yeah, and Martinez actually showed his form from last season also when
yeah.
Leno was injured. So
Yeah,
it was a good buy by Dean Smith.
yeah.
So now let's go with right back. I mean, Trent would be in everyone's mind last season, but he hasn't been that good this season. So who would you
yeah.
pick instead?
For me, I'm picking Reece James. This season he has been good, but apart from injuries, his performance in the games have been really well. And as you said, that Trent Alexander-Arnold is not performing up to the mark this season. I don't know what has happened. So this season, talking about just this season, I'll go with Reece James.
What about you, Shivam?
I'm thinking Tariq Lamptey had a decent spell, so I think I'll go with him just for diversity.
Pranay, who would you go for?
I'll also go with Reece James, although Tariq Lamptey is a close runner-up to this spot. But I think Reece James is my pick because of his emergence, really. Because last season he wasn't a regular starter, and this season he has really made that right back position his own, displacing the long-serving Aspilicueta also. So yeah, he's been pretty impressive, and he'll be my pick.
Yeah, apart from I think last couple of games, like in the Premier League, he has been pretty solid the whole season, going forward and
Yeah.
def- defending. So I think there aren't any right backs who have really performed good this season, right?
I
Apart from
think
Kyle
Aston
Walker has
Villa's
been
yeah,
decent,
yeah. To be fair, Kyle Walker has been really good too.
and
Aston
since he's
Villa's right
injured,
back
uh,
also
Yeah,
Cash.
Matty Cash, yeah.
Actually, whole of Aston Villa's team, but
Fair. So now let's go to centre back. I mean, Pranay, you can go first with this one.
I think before going on to positions, we should first have a common formation.
Yeah. Fair enough.
4-3-3 or
4-4-2.
We
okay, no
already have.
problem.
I think
We should
4-3-3
have a
is
vote on
the
formation as well.
Yeah.
Basic one.
yeah
Yeah, I
the
think.
current go-to formation for most managers 4-3-3.
Yeah, 4-3.
So let's go with 4-3-3. I mean, we already have a keeper and a right back. So Pranay, the first centre back.
For centre back, I would like to go with Thiago Silva, and that is because he has really come in at his age in this kind of a physical demanding league. He has really brought that sense of calm into the Chelsea backline, and he has made influenced Kurt Zuma as well. So my pick for one of the centre backs would be Thiago Silva.
What about you, Nikhil?
My pick would be Ruben Diaz from City, and he's been very good signing for them. He has came in and revolutionized City's defense. They have actually conceded less goals than any other team in the league now, and they have started to maintain clean sheets, which were really lacking last year. So yeah, him and John Stones, the pair are really good together right now. So good replacement for Vincent Company, and I think my first centre back choice would be Ruben Diaz.
Shivam?
Yeah, I agree with Nikhil. Ruben Diaz has been fantastic. He's omitted his had Pep had to omit Laporte from the squad
Yeah.
to kind
Yeah.
of see. Ruben Diaz has been so good. He's been solid. He's a complete centre back. He's also good with the ball on his feet. So yeah, I'll definitely go with Ruben Diaz. I think Pranay is flattering himself with Thiago Silva. I'm
No,
sorry.
actually, Ruben Diaz was going to be my other pick, the
Okay.
other centre back.
No, still, but I don't think Thiago Silva would come in the top 4 or 5 centre backs in the league this season.
I actually picked him because of the impact he had.
Okay.
No
And
way, yeah, that's why nobody expected him that to have such a good impact in Chelsea's defense. Everybody thought
I
that
mean, it's
it's
not
a
that good.
experienced guy.
Seeing the current form of Chelsea, it's not that good.
They have fallen
yeah,
off in recent weeks. Yeah.
yeah, that's because he has been rested also, and at 36 you cannot expect him
Yeah.
to play game in game out.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
Fair enough.
I at 36, England wasn't the most suitable destination for him, but still, he's relished the challenge. He's been good. He's done a good
And
job, no
now
doubt.
there are already talks of him extending his contract also.
Okay.
Oh, that might be risky.
That's good.
I mean,
Yeah,
Chelsea didn't offer John Terry extension. He had to demote himself to the championship with Villa. I'm not too sure if they are willing to
no,
take the
Terry,
plunge
it
with
was his
Silva.
own decision to retire from Chelsea. That's why he wasn't given an extension.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, fine.
In the 16-17 season, when he gave
Yeah.
that emotional speech also, so he had
Oh,
all planned it all out.
oh. So there
So I
might be a
think
bug in my memory.
so the second defender, I think I would nominate Tyrone Mings too. I mean, as Pranay, I mean, all of Aston Villa team has been really great this season, but I think Mings has been really good. I mean, he was really rash in some moments of the season, but I think he has been really stepped up his game. What about you guys for the
Yeah.
second defender?
I already mentioned Ruben Diaz would be my second pick, and I would give a special mention to Fabinho, the way he has stepped in also,
Yeah.
because I'm really genuinely impressed with the way he has performed at centre back.
My second pick would be Fabinho only because you can call me I'm my little biased, but every Liverpool fan thought that after Van Dijk got injured, our defense is gonna be a mess, and it would be like what was like 2 or 3 years back before Van Dijk coming to Liverpool. But Fabinho has taken up the role very, very fantastically well, and he's been maintaining the defense line, everything, commanding everyone. So we are not missing Van Dijk that much like we thought that we would miss him, like we would miss him. So yeah, Fabinho would my second centre back.
I'll go with Conor Cody. Conor Cody, and my honorable mentions will be Tarkovsky of Burnley. Ben Mee also has been good. Ben Mee and Tarkovsky have been solid. And I guess his name is Ben Dunk of Brighton and Hove
Lewis Dunk.
Albion.
Lewis Dunk, I
Lewis
think.
Dunk, yeah. Yeah. So my second centre back my pairing will be Ruben Diaz and Conor Cody.
Yeah, it's been really weird. Like even Wolves switched to a four at the back, which they didn't do for the whole of last season or ever since they got promoted. I think Connor Cody has always played in a three, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, most of he plays in the center of the three
Yeah.
center backs. But now with the injuries and with the experiments of Nuno Espirito Santo, they have sometime fallen back to that four at the back.
Okay, now I mean, now coming on to left back, I think Robertson is a clear on this one. I mean, Tierney and
Yes.
Chilwell have stepped up in like pieces of the season, but they haven't been as consistent as Robertson. Would you agree, Nikhil, in this one?
Yes, yes, definitely. Robertson and Wijnaldum, they are the only players that remain fit, have been fit throughout the season. They haven't got injured, and Robertson has been delivering consistent performance since the start of the season, I think. And I don't remember any bad performances of him. And yeah, his fitness is a great. It's a big shout out to his fitness because
Mm.
when you play week in week out and don't get injured and perform in this level, in this intensity of being a left back in Liverpool, where to go front and back every time, and staying fit is a big thing. So I would nominate Robertson.
What about you, Pranay?
Yes, Robertson is the clear pick, but I think I've also been impressed with Reguilon, the way he has also fit slotted into the Spurs side. Also, Luka Dean was also a good option, at least in the start of the season. He was doing well, but his form tailed off, and I think his injury also came in. And Chilwell is also picked up from where he left off at Leicester, but due to Chelsea's recent problems, he slides down the pecking order.
Shivam?
Yeah, Andy Robertson is a pick without any debates. But I'm a big João Cancelo fan. But right now he's playing right back because of Kyle Walker's injury, and his original position is also right back. So yeah, definitely would go with Robertson. But yeah, honorable mention to João Cancelo. I love him.
Even Kieran Tierney also recently has stepped up.
I think
Yeah,
he's
He
been
stepped
really
up his
good.
game.
He's been really good the all season, but I think the
Yes.
Arsenal's form didn't reflect that. So I think it's fair enough we don't invite. So Akshat Hayman, what about you? Who would you nominate in the left back one?
Okay, so as everybody else said, Robertson and everybody else is a clear pick though. But one, maybe you guys won't agree with me, but I have been really impressed by James Justin. Sometimes whenever he's played at the left back position for Leicester, he's played a few times and I've been really impressed by him. And also, okay, the rest were clearly obvious, though I can't figure out anymore. Robertson has been brilliant because the way Liverpool play, the injuries that have happened, and he's been like solid rock at the defense. Like he's the first name on the team sheet probably. I think consistency is the key for Liverpool right now with the injuries they've been having. So Robertson is the clear pick for me.
All right, I think that
Robertson also helped Scotland to the Euros next year. So
yeah.
he's doing stuff with the national team as well.
So I think now let's move on to the defensive midfielder. I mean, Shivam, you can go first on this one. Who would you go for that?
Oh yeah, it's slightly difficult, but barring the last game, I don't see any competitor to N'Golo Kante. He's been superb in spite of Chelsea's recent dip and his dip in the last game. But still, if you excuse the last game, he's an engine of Chelsea. He's been fantastic. So N'Golo Kante definitely is CDM.
What about you, Akshat?
Okay, so I have to say sorry for this, but for me, I like McTominay a lot this season.
Yeah,
Recently, he's been brilliant though. Recently, he's
yeah,
been
yeah,
brilliant, and also last season he wasn't bad either. This
yeah,
season, barring a few matches, also like in the start he wasn't the first name on the team sheet, and Ole wouldn't pick him for all the games because, of course,
yeah,
United have a rotating midfield right now.
yeah, yeah,
So whenever McTominay plays, there's a sort of the midfield feels safe. The defenders,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, the Lindelof and Maguire feel safe when McTominay is sitting in front of them, and he's
yeah,
been pressing in the attack lately too, and I feel it's McTominay for me.
And he also has some goals in him, though, doesn't he?
Exactly, yeah, he's been impressing in the
yeah.
attack lately. Or yesterday he was given the armband in the FA Cup. Brilliant, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
What about you, Pranay?
Yeah, I'd like to counter on that. Look, I'm also I like McTominay. I like his passion and stuff. But I've seen him play as the defense center back for Scotland as well. Look, I feel his best position is box to box, and the goals that has come that he scored, that his special performance against Leeds, he was playing like a typical box to box midfielder, not as a CDM. He was making overlaps with Bruno. He was going even further than Bruno. There was a spring in his steps when he was going forward. But when he plays like a typical CDM in that double pivot with Fred, I feel when he plays with a double pivot with Fred, even Fred is a better player than him in that position. I also feel that even Fred is a typical box to box, not a 100% CDM like a proper CDM like Nemanja Matic. So that's why I rate Fred and McTominay highly because they're so good as box to box. So I don't rate them as complete CDMs. That's the thing. McTominay, for me, he's at his best when he plays box to box. He links up the play, creates opportunities, and more often than not takes a strike or two from outside the box.
What about you, Pranit? Best CDM so far?
Actually, N'Golo Conte is a good choice, but I would like to go with Calvin Phillips of Leeds for this one because he's not necessarily the best CDM, maybe, and he also doesn't play the way a typical CDM plays, and in their 4-1-4-1 formation of Leeds. But I've been really impressed with his work rate, and that's why I pick him. I see with Conte actually the problem is, and this was exposed against Manchester City also, or against the bigger sides it gets exposed. He is not actually a out and out CDM. He requires another midfielder who would sit back because he likes to go forward and press the opposition. And since in this 4-3-3 formation we do not have another defensive midfielder, so this leaves a lot of gaps in behind. And against, with all due respect, the weaker teams, this wasn't exposed that much. Against Manchester City, it was really exposed, and so that's why I won't pick Conte for this. And also, Douglas Lewis of Aston Villa has also done a good job, but my pick would be Calvin Phillips.
And
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm actually surprised at why has nobody picked Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Tottenham, because he's been
Yeah.
really fantastic this season. If you would ask me this question 2 weeks back, I might have picked Jordan Henderson, but just because he has not been able to create that much this season, so I'm going with Højbjerg. And I know that it was a doubtful signing for Tottenham, but the way he turned out, the way in which he puts up performances for Tottenham has been really great, and he handles the midfield really well in the pivot thing or whatever they do. So it's been a really good signing for them. That's what they were missing last season, I think, and I think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg will be my CD. I think that's.
No, I think I would nominate, as Pranay said, Douglas Luiz. I mean, he's been really great. I mean, I probably think Manchester City will call back to. I mean, I think he's their loanee, if I'm not wrong, Pranay.
No, Douglas Lewis is.
He was, but
Oh, Nando is a
they
Loney.
signed him. They
I
signed him.
I think they still have some kind of clause in him because I was reading like they were reading reports about City.
Yeah, there might be a buyback or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
there
But
might be a
Douglas Lewis,
buyback
did he
clause.
come from Manchester City? I doubt that.
Yeah, he's a City product definitely.
Okay. So I think now let's move on to ball carrier and eight. Akshat, let's go with you on this one. I mean, who would you nominate as an eight?
Okay, so one of the players which I really liked this season, maybe the all-round performance would not have been that great, but I really like James Ward-Prowse as a central
Yeah.
midfielder with the set pieces and all. And with the team that Southampton have, like Ward-Prowse is the perfect midfielder for them. The Danny Ings up front, Ward-Prowse really complements him and all. And we can see it. I mean, 2 free kicks in a match is not an easy thing to do, and then scoring one against David De Gea too. He's been brilliant this season, I think, and Southampton's success this season has been, the large contribution has been given by James Ward-Prowse. Seriously.
Yeah, his corners are always so threatening. I mean, it always looks they're gonna go in. So Nikhil, what about you as an eight? Who would you go for?
I also go with James Ward-Prowse because that pass against Liverpool, pass to Danny Ings, that was actually I didn't. what to say, I never imagined that he would do like that something, and I was really amazed by his performance then. But number 8, I'm actually, it's a shame that Naby Keita isn't fit, and he would be really helpful now for Liverpool because our creativity is next to nothing. And but yeah, James Ward-Prowse is a good shot for number 8 position.
What about you, Pranay?
Yes, actually there are two number 8s in this 4-3-3, so one of them for me was going to be James Ward-Prowse.
Okay. Shivam, what about you?
Yeah, definitely James Ward-Prowse hands down. But I'd give an honorable mention to. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. Uh, so yeah, for the time being, James Ward-Prowse
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Okay. So I think, yeah, let's move on to it. I mean, a 10 now. I think, can we all agree on Bruno, or does KDB decent form get him in?
No, it's
No,
Bruno for
Bruno.
me.
Bruno for me.
Kevin De Bruyne from me, because I don't think that numbers define a player, but Kevin De Bruyne's presence in the City team has been really
Yeah.
encouraging for them. And yeah,
I
and
think
I'm not
Nikhil
saying
has
that Bruno Fernandes less than has been performing less than Kevin De Bruyne this season. But if I had a choice to choose between Bruno Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne, any day I'll go with Kevin De Bruyne,
I think
because
Nikhil has gone for the form is temporary, class is permanent.
yes, yeah.
But for right now, I would say like Bruno always looks like he's gonna score a goal. I mean, I'm not even counting the penalties. I mean, he gets in really good positions. I mean, he isn't a Kevin De Bruyne type of player. Like he's not good at all those Hollywood passes, but he always looks like scoring.
Also, if you look at it, the dependency, United are majorly dependent on Bruno. Like, if he doesn't play, the creativity is lacking there. And also, Kevin De Bruyne, in certain games, he has been short of his form from last season, but City has made it through in those games. While United have been just scrapping through where Bruno isn't playing well. It's really hard to watch when Bruno doesn't play.
I mean, Shivam, you were also mentioning this like for the Carabao Cup semi-final, like Bruno had an off day and you guys whole
Yeah,
he fell down. So would you agree with Bruno as a 10 for this one?
definitely, hands down, 110%. Bruno has been the best CAM in the Premier League. The first four games, James was really good, but then he picked up the injury and his form dipped a bit in the after the first four games. So yeah, overall, culminating the whole season, I think definitely Bruno is the best CAM. He's great. He's a great leader. Creativity wise, also, I mean, he misplaces some passes definitely, but he also gives delightful balls like KDB. So creativity wise, I don't think is any less than KDB, and like class, he's been a near with him, and all year round he's been fantastic. So yeah, definitely Bruno is the CM. I was mentioning the number 8. I think yeah, I forgot his name. Harvey Barnes was so honorable mention was Harvey Barnes. He's carried the Leicester team really well.
So I think now let's move on to left wing. I mean, Son or probably Jack Grealish. I mean, I don't think Grealish plays in left wing for Villa, but he has played out for
Yeah,
England. So I
he's
think he
he's
can
kinds
nominate.
of plays in a left wing CM.
Yeah.
He does
Left
both the
mid.
job.
Yeah, fair enough. So I think I would go for Son. What about you, Nikhil?
I'll also go for Son because he has been really well this season, and the way he links up with Harry Kane in that wing, and they score goals there, and the way they score goals, it's really attractive to watch also, because they're not the whole game, the way just they score the goals.
Mhm.
But yeah, Son is actually undoubtedly Son is the best winger of this season.
What about you, Shivam?
Definitely, Heung-min Son is in the form of his life. But honorable mention to Marcus Rashford as well. He's been decent. Sometimes he's a little sloppy, but yeah, he deserves an honorable mention, I feel. Richarlison has been decent, but he's been sort of switch on and off. So yeah, uh, definitely Heung-min Son.
When would you go for Mane, Son, Grealish, or
I will go for Jack Grealish. because I've told you that as I've been following Villa for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And back in the 15-16 season when they got relegated, Jack Grealish was just a prodigy. And Tim Sherwood that time he said that Grealish will go on to be a world-beating player, and everybody laughed at him at that time. And as you can see right now, Jack Grealish is really influential in this Aston Villa team. He is the leader. He almost single-handedly saved them from relegation last season,
Yeah.
and this season he has just picked up and delivered consistently.
What about you, Akshay?
Yeah, excuse me, I have to go actually.
Yeah, sure.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I have a meeting.
All
So,
right. Okay.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hi.
What about you, Akshay? Who would you nominate for the left wing?
Yeah, so what I feel is the attack is one of the easiest positions to fill in this season because that is one of the positions where stats define the player, practically define the player. And this season, Son has been better than anybody else for me. The stats say it for himself.
Yeah, I was also confused between Son and Grealish. I also love Grealish, but I want to have Son just because for Son and Kane partnership. They play really well together. So
I think
that's why I had to choose
you just probably
Son.
revealed everyone's striker choice too. I mean, I think I would go for Kane. I think he's been he was falling off for the last few weeks, but I think he came back again. I think against Leeds. I think they played really good against Leeds too. So I
Yeah,
think Kane would be my choice for striker too. Akshay, what about you? Who would you go for?
Yeah, Kane, surely Kane. Because if Son is playing, then you've got to have Kane with him.
yeah.
They
that's
complement each other. Brilliant complement. Amazing. Like I have rarely seen such partnerships up front.
Hmm.
Even when you look at Mane and Salah, they don't complement each other as well as Son and Kane do, and it's just beautiful to watch sometimes.
Mane and Salah are competitors. They
Yeah.
are.
Exactly, yeah. And even though they score huge amounts of goals, even Emerson were brilliant, but I've not seen something like this in a long time though. The two of them playing together. Like I don't know what happened in the last few seasons. Why was this not happening before? Why did it start together now? It's just beautiful to watch when they play together.
What about you, Pranay?
I'm gonna go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin,
Okay.
and
Yes.
purely because what he was last season. I mean, he was a decent. He was. People were talking about Everton needing to sign a new striker because both Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison were unable to play in that position. But this season, Calvert-Lewin has really stepped up his game, and he really looks like a proper center forward. He scores headers. He gets into the box. He links up play very well. He holds up the ball as well. So he will be my pick, and honorable mention also to Patrick Bamford.
Yeah.
And of course, Kane is there, but we knew Kane has already been proved. He has proved his class for 4 5 seasons now.
Giroud has been fantastic. I mean, he has he's also 100%. Number 9 has been brilliant. Yeah, that age factor and all those stuff have kept. Lampard hasn't started him always, but he's been fantastic. Giroud, definitely an asset for any team.
Now,
And the threat.
before we move on to like right wing, I mean, Akshay, we were all discussing earlier that is this Spurs system like they continue this for the whole of the season? I mean, we saw between the patches they are falling off. But do you think they'll pick up back again and they can continue this for the season?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm scared about. And it's not a sustainable system for me. They can't like sustain it for the whole season. Teams will figure it out somehow because looking at the stats, it's I think they do the same thing in every match. And if some manager decides to analyze it in depth, I think they will find a solution to stop the two of them. The thing is that when you stop Son and Kane, there's nobody left in that team with enough creativity to score goals.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's move on to right wing. I mean, Akshay, you only continue with who would you go for right wing?
Yeah, so I think Salah would have been a brilliant choice, like obvious choice with the stats. But I think this season I've seen Riyad Mahrez, and whenever he's had the ball in the right wing, I've been really scared. Like, what is he gonna do? You never know what that man is going to do with the ball. Right, left, front, forward, back. I don't know. Even in the Manchester derby, he didn't really play for the whole match in the right wing. Somehow, sometimes he was a striker, but like it's really scary to watch him with like the legs. He doesn't get injured really, Like I don't know how, but he doesn't get injured, and like even he's been brilliant on the right thing.
What about you, Shiva?
Yeah, I'll go with Willian.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, on a serious note, I think Mohamed Salah, and it's difficult to pick one, but yeah, I think Salah will edge past Mahrez. For me, Salah will edge past Mahrez. Mason Greenwood, I mean, he hasn't been able to make the right wing position his own because he was center forward at all age levels, so he hasn't able to be. He was good last season, but this season at the right wing position he hasn't made it his own yet. And now with the arrival of Amad Diallo Traore, he was a proper right winger. I feel now he'll compete with the likes of Martial and Cavani for that centre forward position. So yes, Salah and Mahrez Salah will edge past Mahrez.
Pranay, what about you for the right wing?
Yeah, actually, right wing, we don't really have that many options. And Salah is the clear favorite because of the amount of goals he scores. Even though I don't personally like Salah that much because of his selfishness, but he has undoubted quality. And Riyad Mahrez has also been good this season. And I would also like to give a special mention to Pedro Neto of Wolverhampton. And for left wing also, actually, I would say Zaha also has been a good competitor for
Yeah, I
that
was
position.
thinking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Podence. I mean, Podence hasn't been able to score goals, but he always looks like so dangerous. I mean, he kind of has that hazard in him with his dribbling.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
The way he
Yeah.
is on the pitch, he looks like Hazard.
yeah.
His on the ball skills are of the similar nature to Hazard.
The low center of gravity and all the weaving and dribbling, Hazard like really Hazard like.
They need both Neto and Podence. They need that Raul Jimenez sort of number 9. They're badly missing.
They're getting Cotrone back though now. I
Yeah.
think they're getting Cotrone back from Fiorentina.
Yeah,
So,
that
I
would
think
be great.
Your manager pick,
the
I would
manager
go with Dean Smith.
Dean Smith, a fan of Dean Smith too for me.
Manager Ralph I don't know the
Yeah,
pronunciation
Yeah.
of his last name. Ralph Hasenhüttl something.
Yeah,
I'll go with him.
It's Hasenhüttl for me too, exactly. Like the way he's played Southampton. It's not just this season, it's since the 9-0 loss to Leicester.
Exactly.
The turnaround has been amazing. And
Yeah.
the way he's changed Danny Ings into that brilliant striker. I don't know if he was the reason behind it or what, because Danny Ings wasn't like this 2 seasons back, right?
and even Che Adams.
Che Adams, yeah, from this season, last season, and Che Adams, amazing. Like the stats were somewhat embarrassing for him before that.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
the way he's
He had
scoring,
gone like 17, 18 games without
Yeah.
scoring, then scored that wonder goal against City.
City got that victory.
even James Ward-Prowse has gone to a different level now. Every player in the Southampton team, even
Westergaard. yes.
Pushing.
Yannick Westergaard.
So,
I'm surprised no one mentioned Chris Wilder. Taken aback by that exclusion.
I think we
finally
should do a
managed
worst
to win a game, right? I think in the FA Cup they won 2-3.
Yeah, they won.
Exactly.
No,
I didn't know manager. There was a one season wonder in managers too. So.
No, actually, he got them out of championship. So he's been there probably 2-3 seasons. He's done well.
Yeah.
This
We should
season
do
has been an absolute
season
disaster
for
for us.
Wasn't that FA Cup as his 100th victory or
Yeah,
something?
I didn't get you, Pranay. What were you saying?
Sorry to interrupt. I was saying for Shivam, we should do a worst team 11 also.
Yeah, I would love that.
Picking
I'd
Chris
love that.
Wilder.
I would put Willian on that one too as a captain.
He would be captain for
Yeah.
Kashyap in the team.
Gareth Bale on the right wing.
I mean, he didn't even start against that league. Who were they playing against in the
Marines.
Marines.
Yeah, he look initially, when he was in his 20s, he used to beat every defender with his pace. Now his pace seems to be lost, and now he's at a little, he's sort of in that mid-career crisis sort of situation. And the split initially, everything at Spurs or Madrid also it revolved around him a bit. So he used to fed that ball. Now even those kids at Spurs are not passing him the ball against Bahrain. So the kids weren't even passing him the ball that much.
So
it's-
I think
it's a
we
bit
got
of
the
a-
11 and the manager. So I think before leaving, I wanted to ask you guys a question. There was this discussion on social media going on. I mean, City recently picked up form back again, but is it like fair to say out of the traditional top six, United have played like the best attacking football out of the all traditional top six?
Yeah,
One-
but you know how much
Yeah.
you can trust Ole, don't you?
But don't you give him like
You know it from inside. Some game he will fuck up.
yeah.
Then he'll get back.
Exactly.
Sometimes maybe
Ole,
good, sometimes maybe shit. So
Actually,
it's
Manchester
the
United
wrong
are,
kinds of turnarounds with Ole, like the opposite kind of turnarounds that you want from Ole, he gets you.
they have been such a unpredictable team, Manchester
Yeah.
United.
I feel like they're team of moments. They never look good for the whole game, but it's like just they never miss any chances. I mean, they just need one chance in likes of
we rely on individual brilliance more than the team chemistry. That's what hurts.
I think Rashford and Bruno are the two main like players
Yeah,
with
Martial also.
United.
They rely on Martial.
Martial, yeah.
Sometimes Martial's individual brilliance. Sometimes Cavani's individual brilliance. That and Bruno is the one threading the team through. I mean, there's this sort of lack of rhythm. The rhythm with yeah, which Liverpool play or City at their peak play. That sort of rhythm is not there. Ole hasn't been able to find the rhythm, and personally, I don't trust him to find that rhythm.
It's seriously, it's not sustainable football. Like you can't keep going through with those tactics through the whole season. Like we saw it last season also. The tactics didn't work for the whole season. Then suddenly when they came back from the lockdown, the tactics seemed to work for Ole. They can't work for the whole season. Even against Leeds, the performance was brilliant, but then you see the scoreline, 2 goals were conceded.
Yeah.
That shows
Yeah.
that the team isn't consistent for the whole 90 minutes. They slack off for some 5 seconds and then they concede. The
And
draw, the draw against Leicester also showed that 2-2. Like we were
I
leading.
think, United's back line is the weakest. I mean, look, United fans are quite optimistic about Luke Shaw and Van Bissaka, but comparing him to the likes of Robertson and Arnold, Reece James and Chilwell, I mean, they are nowhere near that level. Van Bissaka is very poor with the ball. Luke Shaw is sometimes sloppy. His speed, he doesn't have that very tenacity. There's no leadership at the back. There is some positivity. There's a breath of fresh air with Eric Bai coming on, and Tuanzebe has been brilliant when he's playing, but Ole doesn't trust him. He plays a good game. Next game he gets dropped. And Maguire and Lindelof is good, but he's struggling with his fitness sort of. And Harry Maguire, I mean, if I start ranting about him, I'll not stop. So better I don't talk about him.
What about you, Pranay? You were saying something.
no, I was saying like Akshat talked about Man United's tactics, which are not sustainable. And I also wondered, you mentioned the post-lockdown period when Man United were winning very comfortably. Towards